At the beginning of the story, we meet a boy named Kulin, a boy whose beauty is both a blessing and a curse. Every time a girl sees his face, she falls madly in love with him, completely losing control of her heart. Because of this, Kulin spends most of his life hiding behind masks and walls, living quietly inside his home. He's the youngest son of a wealthy family, graceful, well-mannered, and impossibly handsome. His older brother, Os, is a social media celebrity with millions of followers, famous not only for his looks but also for helping people find love. Their father, Parker, was once a legend himself, known across the country as the Heartbreaker. In his youth, he dated over 1,200 women, a record Oz proudly dreams of surpassing someday. Everything in their family seems to revolve around charm and beauty, but not for Kulin. While his brother and father enjoy the attention, he feels trapped by it. He wishes just once someone could see beyond his face. Whenever Kulin goes outside, even for something simple like buying groceries, girls line up behind him, blushing, fainting, their noses bleeding from excitement. His family accepts that they're all born beautiful, blessed by God, but Kulin sees his appearance as a curse. Every girl wants him only because of how he looks, and not because of who he really is. Deep inside, he longs for someone who could love him purely, someone who could see his heart, not his face. Because of that, he rarely leaves home. Despite being intelligent and talented, he refuses to attend school. He has no friends, no one to talk to. His parents and brother do worry that his loneliness might drive him insane. His behavior has grown strange. Sometimes he talks to fish, sometimes he plays games alone, pretending he's not. One evening, Dew says, "We should buy him a cat." But their mother sighs. That's not enough. He needs to learn how to live a normal life, to talk to people, to go outside. Father Parker adds, "I've asked him to join national sports teams, but he always refuses." Oz replies, "I even tried to set him up with my girlfriend's sister, but he ignores me completely." Then he turns to Kulin and asks, "So what kind of girl do you even want?" Kulin answers softly, "She should be cute, kind, understanding, and most importantly, she shouldn't be interested in me." Oz is left speechless. How could anyone find a girl who doesn't like his brother? Sending Kulin out of the house seemed impossible, until Jessica, their mother, came up with an idea. "Let's pretend we can't afford his homeschooling anymore. If we act like we're in financial trouble, he'll have no choice but to go out." That night, when Kulin walks out to drink water, Os whispers to his parents, "Now's the time. Act sad." The plan begins. His mother sighs dramatically. "We don't have enough money to pay for Kulin's homeschooling. We'll have to sell our things and live on just scrambled eggs and lentils from now on." Hearing this, Kulin freezes. Tears fill his eyes. His heart aches as guilt consumes him. The next morning, he goes to his parents, crying, "Please forgive me. You've suffered too much because of me. You don't have to sell anything. I'll go to school for my final semester." The family hides their smiles. Their plan worked, but then Kulin adds, "I'll only go if it's an all-boys school. I don't want to hurt anyone." They agree immediately. At least now he'll step into the world again. The day finally arrives. Oz drives Kulin to Hudson High School on his bike. "Take off your helmet," he says. But Kulin refuses. He plans to wear it all day so no one will see his face. When he enters the school, all eyes turn toward him. Whispers fill the air. Who is this strange new student wearing a helmet indoors? Kulin quietly sits on the last bench, trying to disappear into the corner. When the teacher enters the room, she freezes. "Excuse me," she says sharply, "this isn't a racing ground." "Why are you wearing a helmet?" Kulin mumbles his name, but his voice is muffled. The teacher demands he remove it. Slowly, nervously, Kulin lifts his helmet. The next moment, chaos. An ambulance siren blares. The teacher, mesmerized by his face, collapses with a smile frozen on her lips. The principal rushes in, demanding an explanation. The students whisper, "The new boy, he's too handsome." The teacher couldn't handle it. Hidden behind the doorway, Kulin listens in shame and fear. He runs, desperate to escape. But before he can, a strong foot kicks him from behind. The one who kicked him is CD, the school's most notorious student. CD, the boy who had kicked Kulin earlier, was not just any student, he was the ruthless leader of a small gang that terrorized the school. Together with his two partners, Eno and Dicky, they proudly called themselves the Three Tucks, a so-called superhero team, though everyone knew they were nothing more than bullies. When Kulin regained consciousness in the dark storeroom, he found himself surrounded by them. CD smirked and asked coldly, "Do you know why we caught you?" Kulin, still dazed, shook his head. CD leaned in closer. "We need you to deliver a message to a girl, Amanda, the model from BBM school. Every year they host a prom, but no matter how many invitations we send, they never let us attend. That's why we've been stuck here for 3 years. We need you to change that." Kulin frowned in confusion. CD continued, Amanda only accepts prom proposals from handsome guys. So you're going to ask her for permission on our behalf. Got it? Nearby stood Kibo, a quiet, kind-hearted student, one of CD's favorite targets. When Kibo hesitated, CD smashed Kulin's helmet against the floor and growled, If you don't do what I say, I'll make you suffer like this helmet. Kulin's patience broke. He stormed off toward the principal's office, determined to report CD. Kibo tried to stop him, but Kulin didn't listen. Inside the office, Kulin explained everything, but to his shock, the principal smiled calmly and said, CD is my youngest son. He's failed 3 years because of that ridiculous prom, and I'm tired of it. So here's the deal. You'll complete his task, or I'll make sure you fail this year. Kulin stood frozen. Even the principal was protecting the bully. That evening, Kulin sat outside the school with Kibo. Kibo handed him a cold drink and said softly, We have no choice. If we want to pass, we must do what he says. Kulin sighed, but as he looked at Kibo's sincere face, something inside him softened. It was the first time he'd met someone who felt genuinely kind, someone who didn't care about his looks. For the first time, Kulin felt what it was like to have a friend. The next day, the two boys arrived at Brain Beauty Man's school, better known as BBM, an elite all-girls school. The moment Kulin stepped inside, every girl could sense something unfamiliar, the scent of a boy. Within seconds, the entire school gathered around, shouting, giggling, and whispering. They stared at the stranger in the helmet. Who's that? He must be ugly if he's hiding his face, one of them said mockingly. Soon, the crowd began chanting, Take it off! No ugly boys in BBM. Kulin hesitated, then slowly lifted his helmet. And in that instant, the world exploded. The girls froze, then screamed. The screen cuts to a blinding flash, followed by chaos. Sirens, ambulances, fainting students. The news spread like wildfire. Reporters gathered outside the school, their voices trembling as they spoke into their microphones. Breaking news! A mysterious boy known only as Too Handsome has driven hundreds of girls insane. Witnesses report nosebleeds, fainting, and loss of consciousness due to his overwhelming charm. In another scene, Amanda, the reigning beauty queen of BBM and a professional model, watched the broadcast from a forest photo shoot. Her eyes widened, and then slowly, a smile curved across her lips. This boy, she whispered, he's the only one who can match my beauty. No matter what it takes, I will have him. As the story spread, chaos reached Kulin's home. Girls from all over the city gathered outside the Maz family mansion, desperate for a glimpse of him. Instead of panicking, Kulin's family saw an opportunity. Father Parker quickly set up a ticket booth outside the gate, charging 25,000 Rue Kulin childhood tour. Jessica began offering house tours, showing off his old toys and bedroom to screaming fans. Money poured in. But when Kulin saw this on the news, his heart shattered. He realized his family had used him, that sending him to school was part of their plan all along. Betrayed and humiliated, he ran through the city as the crowd chased him, his tears mixing with the rain. He climbed onto a rooftop, staring at the endless crowd below. His phone rang. It was Oz. Brother, listen. But before Oz could finish, Kulin looked at the crowd of screaming girls on the screen behind him. You betrayed me, he said quietly and ended the call. Standing on the edge, lost and broken, Kulin closed his eyes and prepared to jump. But then, a calm voice called out behind him. If you want to die, die, but don't die in front of me. Kulin turned. Standing there was a girl, Rari. Her eyes met his, and nothing happened. No shock, no blushing, no nosebleed. She looked at him like he was just another person. For the first time in his life, someone was immune to his beauty. Kulin stared in disbelief. Don't you feel anything when you look at me? He asked quietly. Rari frowned. What are you talking about? She muttered and walked away. Kulin's heart raced. He had never felt this before. This strange, quiet pain, this warmth. For the first time, he was falling in love, but Rari felt nothing. Later, Kulin visited Kibo's house, where Kibo's grandmother told him a story from her own youth. A story about love that wasn't based on beauty at all, but on kindness, trust, and pain. And as she spoke, Kulin began to realize that perhaps his curse wasn't meant to destroy him, but to teach him what real love truly means. For the first time in a long while, Kulin feels peace. The next day, Kulin and Kibo head to BBM school together. They meet Amanda and hand her the proposal file that CD had given them. Amanda pretends to be unimpressed by Kulin's appearance, but as he turns to leave, her nose suddenly begins to bleed. She quickly hides her face, realizing she has fallen under his spell too. Among the crowd of girls, Kulin spots Rari, the girl who once saved his life, the only girl who never fell for his charm. But before he can approach her, the other students surround her, and he loses sight of her once again. Days pass, and Kulin and Kibo grow closer. They spend hours talking, laughing, and helping each other through school life. One afternoon, Kibo invites Kulin to join him at a small local shop, explaining that there's a girl he likes who works there. When they arrive, Kulin's heart stops. The girl is Rere. Kibo excitedly introduces them, unaware of the storm inside Kulin. Every day, the three of them spend time together, eating dinner, walking home, sharing stories. Slowly, Kulin's jealousy begins to grow. At night, he lies awake, staring at the ceiling, his heart aching. In desperation, he turns to the only person he knows who understands love, his brother Os. Kulin sets up a meeting with him through a dating website, not telling him who he is. The next day, they meet at a restaurant. When Os realizes it's his brother, tears fill his eyes. "Finally," he laughs, "you came to me for love advice." Their parents soon join them, and Kulin forgives them, saying softly, "If you hadn't sent me to school, I would never have met her." The next morning, while shopping with his family, Os gives him endless love tips: how to talk, how to smile, how to win her heart. Kulin listens quietly, but his mind is already filled with Rere's image. He starts to believe that if he can somehow get Kibo away from Rere, maybe he can have her for himself. A few days later, Amanda arrives at their school. The entire campus goes wild. Every boy is enchanted by her. But she walks straight to Kulin, smiling mysteriously, and invites him to her birthday party. As a gift, she hands him a brand new iPhone. That night, Kulin, Kibo, and Rere arrive together at the party, held in a luxurious club. The music is loud, the lights shimmer. Kulin tries to talk to Rere, but she pays him no attention. She's laughing and singing with Kibo, and every smile she gives him feels like a knife to Kulin's chest. Later, when Kibo steps away, Kulin gathers his courage. "Rere?" he asks softly. "Do you like Kibo?" Rere's eyes widen, but she quickly denies it. Then Kulin says, "Because Kibo likes Amanda." The smile on her face fades. Her silence says everything. She truly loves Kibo. Kulin walks away, his heart breaking. That night, he forms a plan. He calls Amanda and asks her for a favor. Amanda agrees. The next evening, Amanda's grand birthday party begins. The hall glows with lights, cameras, and music. Kulin and Kibo arrive together. Amanda greets them warmly, and following Kulin's plan, she begins flirting with Kibo, laughing, touching his hand, leading him away from the crowd. A few moments later, Rere enters the hall. She looks around, searching for her friends, and freezes. Across the room, Amanda and Kibo are kissing. Her eyes fill with tears. Without a word, she runs out into the night. Kulin follows her, calling her name. He finds her standing outside, trembling. "I thought Kibo was different," she says bitterly. "He didn't care about beauty, but in the end, all boys are the same." Kulin's voice shakes. "I'm not like that, Rere. I love you, truly." But Rere looks at him with sadness. "I never saw you as more than a friend," she whispers and walks away. Kulin stands there, shattered. He had betrayed his friend for love and lost both. Moments later, chaos erupts at the party. CD, who had also come, sees Amanda and Kibo together. His face darkens with rage. In the parking lot, he corners Kibo and begins to beat him mercilessly. Kulin watches from afar, paralyzed by fear. He wants to help, but his body won't move. After CD leaves, Kulin runs to Kibo, lifting his bruised body and taking him home. Kibo's grandmother gently treats his wounds, her eyes full of worry. Despite his pain, Kibo smiles weakly and hands Kulin a small card, one from his childhood collection that Kulin had always wanted. Kulin looks at it in disbelief. "You kept this?" Kibo nods softly. "You're my best friend." Tears fill Kulin's eyes. The guilt is unbearable. He tells Kibo the truth. Everything about the plan, the lies, and his betrayal. Kibo's face hardens. "If you had told me earlier that you loved Rere, I would have stepped aside, but you lied to me. You used me. That was my mistake, trusting you." He turns away. "Don't ever show me your face again." Kulin tries to speak, but Kibo yells, "Get out!" And just like that, Kulin loses his only friend. After a long time, he returns home. His mother, brother, and grandmother rush to hug him, their faces full of relief. But Kulin says nothing. He walks silently to his room and locks the door. At school, he sees Kibo sometimes, but the two never speak again. The warmth between them has turned into a wall of silence. One night, Kulin's mother comes into his room. "Your fish is still alive," she says softly. And Kulin, "We were never bankrupt. It was all just an act." Kulin looks up, stunned. "Why?" She smiles gently. "Because every parent wants their child to live, to love, to have friends who understand their heart. You weren't living, Kulin. You were hiding." Her words echo in his mind. Kulin closes his eyes and memories flood back. The laughter with Kibo, the shared meals, the silly arguments. the care in his friend's eyes. He realizes through all the pain and jealousy one simple truth. Kibo wasn't just his friend, he was the one who made his lonely world feel alive. Kulin had always been someone who felt deeply. Every joy, every sorrow, every regret cut straight to his heart. His mother looked at him with tender eyes. "If you finally found peace with us, Kulin, we won't force you to leave again," she said softly. Kulin's eyes filled with tears as he wrapped his arms around her. For the first time, he truly felt the warmth of his family. Not the perfection, not the beauty, but the love that had always been there. The next morning, Kulin gathered his courage and went to find Rere. He wanted to make things right. When he met her, he told her everything. The truth, the lies, the mistakes, the regrets. Meanwhile, Rere and Kibo hadn't spoken since that painful night. Kulin went to Kibo's house, hoping to bring them together again. But Kibo refused to even look at him. Kulin stood there quietly and said, "Why are you punishing me, Kibo?" "She loves you." Kibo's voice trembled. "I love her too, but I can't tell her. I'm too afraid." Kulin looked at him gently. "Then tell me, how do you feel about her?" Kibo's eyes softened. He smiled faintly, his voice shaking as he said, She's the most unique girl in the world. She's kind, brave, unpredictable, and her laugh, it's like music. I love her so much." Kulin smiled and pulled out his phone. "Then tell her yourself." He turned the screen toward Kibo. Rere was already there, listening through the video call. Her eyes shimmered with tears as she heard his confession. That day, Kibo and Rere reunited. The distance that had broken them finally disappeared, and Kulin's heart felt lighter than ever. He had made things right again. Days later came the school's prom night, a night filled with lights, laughter, and music. Kibo arrived with Rere by his side. They smiled, placed their earphones in, and danced together, lost in each other's world, their happiness glowing brighter than the stars. Kulin attended with Amanda, and as expected, their dazzling beauty stole the show. When the winners were announced, the crowd erupted in applause. Kulin and Amanda were crowned prom king and prom queen. But as the lights shimmered and the music swelled, Kulin's eyes searched through the crowd and found Rere, dancing, laughing, glowing with joy beside Kibo. He smiled softly. His heart still beat for her, but this time, the feeling wasn't pain. It was peace. He had learned what real love meant, letting go, forgiving, and wishing happiness for the ones you care about most. And as the night faded under the glittering lights, Kulin's smile remained, gentle, proud, and full of heart. And that's how the story ends. So tell me, which character do you think was right for Rere, Kulin, or Kibo? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more emotional Kdrama recaps. Thank you for watching. This is Kdrama Recap World.